God doesn't choose the clean. He cleans the chosen.
You married, you had a son. A generation later, one of your descendants was Jesus himself. Did you ever imagine your name would be in the Messiah's lineage?
I knew their God was real, and I wanted to be on His side, even if it cost me everything.
Why did you risk your life for a couple of strangers?
Yes, I hung a scarlet cord in my window, but years later I realized it pointed to a greater scarlet line.
Well, what happens when walls fall? No, not just the city walls, but the ones around your identity, your past, and your future. Well, welcome to Bible Voices from the Past. I'm your host, Jonathan McClintock, and today we sit down with a woman whose name was once whispered in shame, but who became a pillar of faith in God's unfolding plan. She used to live on the edge of Jericho's wall, and when destruction came, she didn't just survive, she stepped into destiny. So sit back, relax, and for the next few minutes, enjoy this Bible voice from the past.
In the beginning, there was chaos and darkness in the void when God said, "Let there be light."
Well, as I said, today we're joined by a great guest, a guest that used to live on the walls of Jericho, but now she has found herself living with a new people, and God is now her God. And we're excited that Rahab is with us today. Rahab, thank you for being here today.
I'm honored. I never thought my name would be remembered, let alone spoken with dignity.
Well, let's go back to that night, Rahab. Let's go back and talk about that night. 2 Israelite spies had snuck into your city, and somehow you all connected, and they found you, and you ended up hiding them. They slept on the roof of your house. You covered for them. Why did you risk your life for a couple of strangers?
Because they weren't just strangers. They were messengers of something bigger than me, and much bigger than Jericho. Everyone in the city had heard what their God did in Egypt. So we were terrified. But I wasn't just afraid, I was drawn. I knew their God was real, and I wanted to be on His side, even if it cost me everything.
So you told the spies, you said this, you said, "The Lord your God, He is God in heaven above and on the earth below." Now, coming from someone who lived in Jericho, that's a bold confession for someone coming from your city.
I had lived my whole life surrounded by idols, but none of them ever answered my prayers. And deep down, I had always wondered if there was something more. So when I heard of the God of Israel, I didn't just believe He was powerful. I believed He might be merciful, even to someone like me.
Well, let's talk about that scarlet cord, that cord that you tied it in your window as a sign. You were told to do that, and when Jericho fell, when all that happened and everything crumbled to the ground, your home was spared miraculously. What was that like, standing inside that crumbling city and then actually surviving?
Terrifying and holy. I heard the shouts.
Wow.
I felt the ground shake, and I held my breath while I clutched the cord. The cord wasn't magic. It represented a promise that the same God who shook the walls was willing to spare me because I chose to believe.
Your faith did not just save you. It brought you into the family of Israel. It gave you a brand new start. You married, you had a son. A generation later, one of your descendants was Jesus himself. Did you ever imagine your name would be in the Messiah's lineage?
Never. I was known as Rahab the harlot, but I thank God that He chose to rewrite my name. He didn't just bring me out of judgment. He led me into a wonderful purpose.
Wow.
I went from being looked down on to actually belonging.
Rahab, what do you say to someone listening today? You've got such a story of redemption And it's amazing. What would you say to someone today who thinks they've gone too far, or they're too far gone, and they're too stained by their past and their past mistakes? What would you say to them today?
Then let me be your proof. God doesn't choose the clean. He cleans the chosen. And it's
Yes.
not just about where you've been. It's about who you trust now. Yes, I hung a scarlet cord in my window, but years later I realized it pointed to a greater scarlet line, one soaked in blood and one that saves all who believe.
What an incredible truth. What an incredible truth. Rahab, thank you for your faith. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your hope. And thank you for spending just a few minutes with us to share a little bit of hope and encouragement with our listeners. Thank you for being with us today.
And thank you, Jonathan, for letting the world know that grace doesn't skip the broken, but it finds them first.
Well, there you have it. She once lived on the wall, but found herself written into the foundation of faith. That was Rahab, a woman the world tried to throw away, but whom God lifted up. Well, this has been Bible Voices from the Past, and if you would like to see the video of this podcast and watch as Rahab and myself, we speak to one another for a few minutes, you can do that. I encourage you to go watch it on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bible Voices from the Past. Now, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, please like, subscribe, and continue to join us for each episode of this podcast. This is Bible Voices from the Past. Bible stories reimagined, truth rediscovered. Until next time.
In the beginning, there was chaos and darkness in the void when God said, "Let there be light."